joining me on Vibin with Vida. So glad to be back with you guys. And super, super excited about this interview because let me tell you what, I got big for it, right? You flew in from LA, Kansas City native, and I have the one and only KRIZZ Calico. So I'm super excited. Thank you guys both for joining me. Thank you guys for saying yes. And I did discover that you guys knew each other ahead of time. Yeah. So you guys are already fam, as the word.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. When I was telling you earlier off here, I was like, yeah, I try to, when I go out to LA, I tap in real quick. You know, in the hip hop culture, you know, I'm tapping in.
Yeah.
I typically only tap in with him like a kid.
Yep.
Producer
Ken. All right. Shout out to Producer Ken. Maybe y'all meet him sometime. And just for everyone who doesn't know, over here we have Suli4q.
Yep.
Yes. And he makes music and has clothes at what the store is called Boulevard 816 here in Kansas City. So you guys can stop by there and check that place out. Let's get to some questions because we are doing interviews. So let's start with Big Court. All right, you have been very busy here in Kansas City. I didn't know that you're everywhere and on everybody's shows right now.
Yeah.
So how big is the level of excitement in Kansas City for you and your arrival here?
Man, it's been cool. I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate the city, you know, they've appreciated me, they support me for many years, you know, and they continue to do so because I've pivoted a few times. You know, I've reinvented myself, I don't know, 3-4 times. You know, so it's been all love. You know, I was out doing a podcast earlier in my neighborhood, and it was cool to see, you know, people riding by, stopping, want to take pictures.
They recognize you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some that I didn't know, but then some neighbors from the neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, so, but I think that's the cool thing. You know, your face card is good. You do stuff with integrity. Your name is good, and you're able to do what do that. You know? So, and I've been in LA 22 years. You know, so to still be tapped in, still be respected.
Right. That is fantastic. It really is. You said you reinvented yourself a few times. I did see that you had done some acting and that struck a chord with me because I've recently done some. So I did want to ask you some questions about the things you've reinvented yourself into and acting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think you have to know when to pivot. I mean, I've been a gang affiliated, a gang, affiliated person. I've been a hustler.
Okay.
I've been a rapper.
I heard about that.
Yeah. I've been a rapper. I own real estate, so I've been a real estate investor. Then the podcast and the acting. So yeah, you have to, know how to, pivot. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the acting, I think that it's a natural. Transition for an artist to go into, especially when you're doing some type of written expression, to go into acting. Yeah, I was kind of outgrowing music, probably about early 2000s, mid 2000s. I was running the beginnings. And so when I moved to LA, I started auditioning, doing like little independent flicks and just kind of getting my feet wet and learning the process of it. And that's when I started saying, I think I can do this because I produce as well.
Right.
So I had put up the money to do my first movie with Cat Williams. It was like 06, I think.
Cat Williams.
I did.
Okay.
It was starred me, Cat Williams, and Lawrence Jacobs. And this was before the streaming platforms. This was before, I think we shot on, it was like Panasonic original tape. So this was even before like 5 years of digital cameras. That's why it was so expensive. And I spent like $250,000. I could probably do it for $10,000.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have no favor back then. Paid for all the locations, insurance, dollies, everything. Right? I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even do it. But acting is, I like it. It's fulfilling.
It is.
Acting classes. It is. I think because, especially for me, because I'm such a laid-back person, but when you get into character, I'm able to let the other sides kind of shine through.
Are you method?
No. I'm more like mindset.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learned how to catalog emotions.
Okay.
Some people.
That's what Meisner. I'm like, what's Meisner? I've never heard this
Because
term.
there's different kinds of
Yeah,
actors.
Yeah, the Meisner technique is where you basically just learn to catalog your emotions of what would trigger you to be how you need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So for instance, like, in my last movie that I did, A Little Piece of Heaven, like I had to be emotional. I had to cry. Now, the scene, what was going on, wouldn't necessarily know that, not for me, right? But I know where to go to get that emotion.
Yeah.
I know how to get that. So that's how I operate. Method, that's over the top. That's some acting.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be, off camera acting like my character all day.
Right, all day.
I mean, it works for some people. Denzel does it.
Yeah. That was kind of what I did. I'd be like, hold on, give me a minute. I gotta like think about
I
it
get it.
and get myself worked back up again.
I can understand it. I get it because sometimes depending on how intense the character is and how far it can be from who you are,
Yeah.
it is hard to snap back in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can see it, But maybe I don't know, maybe I will find myself in a position where I may need to do that. But I haven't had to do anything that was kind of that far away from me.
Would you recommend everyone take classes?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, some people don't have to, but it's little things. Like
Okay.
even when we was doing this, I sitting on this talking about the camera. You learn little stuff like that. So it's little things that I think, and then repetition, like anything else. Just repetition.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are little nuances to being a good actor. You can verbally deliver things, good, right?
Yeah.
But it's still your mannerisms. It's still certain things to be able to really,
Yeah.
become that character.
Are you moving too much or not enough?
Right. And it's
Yeah.
subtleties too. Like a good actor is not going to act drunk,
Right.
because a drunk is not trying to act drunk, trying to act sober.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah,
what I'm
actually,
saying?
that's true.
So a drunk is trying not to fall
That
back.
almost confused me, but yeah, that's true.
Because a drunk is trying not to fall back. They're trying to keep themselves together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. What else have you reinvented yourself?
I'm taking that
Right?
with me.
Drunk?
I'm
Yeah,
taking that
that's
with me.
true.
Yeah.
That's good. That was a good one. You said you also do real estate.
Yes.
Yeah. And in this pivoting, what made you decide to get into real estate?
That was pivoting for being a drug.
Oh,
So yeah.
okay.
So I seen a lot of I bought my first house when I was 19.
Okay.
So I saw a lot of the hustles in my neighborhood. The older parents, they was buying houses.
That's a wise hustle.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that at the time, right? Honestly, I bought my first house thinking that, okay, I'm going to go to jail and be drunk, get back, and I have something to never go to jail.
Right.
That was my plan, right? So I spent like 17, I bought my first house for 47. I spent 17.5. Yeah, I put another maybe 15 into it. So I remember standing outside and I was filling all the copies and shit. And the numbers started coming up. I can only rent this for 5 people. At the time, it was 2 bills. I'm like 30-something thousand. So I got in a year, I'm making my money back. And then it dawned on me. Because at the time, I was super young. So it was a volume thing. I was like, okay, I need 10 A's.
Okay.
So that got me on the mission to acquire more houses because I was looking at the cash flow. So by the time I got to like a couple years later, I got to like, I think it was like 17 properties I had free and clear. And I didn't know anything about equity, leveraging, none of that. And so I ended up meeting with this lady, commercial lady at Zoom. And we were talking and she was like, you want 17 properties, how much you owe? I said, no. She said, you want 17 properties free and clear? Yeah. And so probably, I say maybe about 6 or 7 months later, she got me a line of credit for like $1.5 million.
Hey.
So then I was like, oh, that's how this works.
That's how it is.
Oh, okay, and so that's how I
Okay.
ended up getting into this.
So many people hustle backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'll be 51. Yeah, black.
Hustling backwards. Hustling backwards.
But I'd be remiss if I didn't,
You don't hustle backwards. You're not.
I know, I'm saying,
You're none of
you
y'all.
can't be a black 50-year-old man and not know what their term is. And from Kansas City. Yeah, no.
I mean,
100%.
oh my goodness. But that was smart. That was smart.
But as I was gonna say, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the end. You know,
Okay.
That's right.
I made every mistake. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So even in that, I did good with that, but I lost television. You know what I mean? You know, so I've done a lot of things wrong.
So what's the number one don't?
I think, well, in terms of that,
Yeah.
particular space.
Well, what, land real estate?
Well, no, well, I got mixed up in that 08, 09 thing.
Okay.
So it was just timing. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I bought like 6 properties in Decatur, thinking I could replicate what I did in Kansas City. But not only could I not do it because I didn't have the infrastructure and the support there that I had here.
Right.
I know everybody here, so
Right.
it ain't nothing to get maintenance and different things like that. Atlanta, I was having to fly from LA to Atlanta for simple
Okay.
stuff, you know. So, but yeah, I ended up buying a bunch of properties, and these were more expensive properties, you know, like 200,000, you know, just for a couple months later for me to find out they worth like 60,000.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm like, I can take these back. So,
Would they have like foundation issues or something?
no, that's when the bubble burst.
Oh, okay.
The value of the property
Okay.
went away. And so I'm carrying, you know, 200-some thousand in, you know, asset, or I should say debt, for a depreciating asset.
Okay.
You know, it just didn't make sense to do. You know what I mean? So I had to short sell. And so, you know, and then I had a house in the casino that I had to short sell. But, yeah, I paid like almost $1 million